And you're very welcome. It's The Beautiful Truth with Fintan Dunn on the 1st of July 2021 with a Betfair Trump Punters update. And I'm sure you've got other things on your mind as you lie there on your sun lounger, gently bathing your body in sunblock, thus removing all the beneficial vitamin D from the sunshine. But hey, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just waiting, wondering when you're going to get news of your claim against Betfair. Well, you know, while you're relaxing, those people in Betfair, they're slogging away. There's no break for them. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened to IBAS, the Independent Betting Adjudication Service. Normally they deal with a trickle of betting complaints, but there are literally hundreds and hundreds of them, which have overwhelmed the organisation. So to an extent, we do have to extend some slack to Betfair, although I think they could have really, lit a fire under it. But nevertheless, it is to be expected that it takes a lot of time. And one of the other issues as well is that I don't think Betfair are going to find themselves with decisions from IBAS on these early cases that were filed in January and February. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the IBAS people are going to wait until they have substantially looked at all the claims which have come before them, got the source data of Betfair, evaluated the quality of each individual claim, and then made their determination as to what are they going to do in relation to all that. So I expect that we will get a mass decision, where they will take a position and then notify appropriately the various people who they have already with their analysis feel fall in whatever categories might be appropriate, right? So depending on what kind of bets, when, how much, etc., these are determinations they will have made, but only when they've seen the shape of the thing and made the big decisions on this. So what's my feeling about it? Well, my feeling is that the bad news is it's taken a long time. And the good news is it's taken a long time, which means it's not getting tossed. If we were being tossed, we'd have been tossed already. That workload of hundreds of cases to be gone through wouldn't have even been gone through. They would have been dismissed summarily at an early stage, saving everybody a lot of time and effort. So we're in the game, and it's game on. And the longer it goes on, the more in the game we are. I'm not a betting man. I'm not generally. It's just I thought there was very good value on that particular bet and sequence of bets considering the odds on offer. But if I was if I was a bookie, let's say, and you came to me looking for odds on whether you would get a decision from IBAS which indicated that Betfair were negligent in setting the terms and conditions of the market for the 2020 presidential election, I think that you would maybe get 1 to 3 off me if you're lucky. 1 to 4 probably more like, because I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think that considering how far into the game we are now and the quality of the case which we made, that the chances of Betfair escaping from this without being found negligent in the setting of the terms and conditions is slim. Now, what's going to be done about that negligence and the consequences of their negligence is another day's work, and that's what's exercising the minds at IBAS as they gather the evidence and consider those matters. But on the prime central issue of whether or not there's going to be some liability to Betfair, I think there is, on the sheer merits of the case. And that means that even if you have wagers in excess of the limit which is covered by IBAS, which is 10,000 sterling in the UK, then I think that Betfair are not going to challenge it in court, because that same logic applies in court. They were negligent in setting the terms and conditions. Whatever else about what happens subsequently on that prime issue where they had the responsibility to be accurate and to leave no vagueness in order to set terms and conditions that would be rational and could be applied rationally. They didn't do that. They failed. So they're not going to go into court if they get a negative decision from IBAS. It's not worth it. And the problem is, if you're negligent on the core issue, then regardless of what remedy is applied by a judge, your costs are gone. So I think anybody going into Betfair would have going into court against Betfair would have a very strong likelihood they're going to get their costs regardless because of the negligence. Now, what happens as a result? What are they going to do? What compensation? What redress? What remedy? That's another day's work. But it's looking good on the core issue. I think we just got to be a bit patient. The other question is, of course, what implication does this have for the Arizona recount, and whether, if in fact Trump was, reinstated? Some people are saying that he could be reinstated later this year. Well, turn to Betfair's previous published statements on this matter. They put out statements in January 22nd and on December 16th. And they said there that there must be, they said, an appropriate practical cutoff point for bets on a presidential election. They're already on the record as having made that determination. And that means that you have an uphill battle in order to challenge the 20th of January, shall we say. That's going to be an uphill battle because, yes, indeed, who knows what may happen in the US political system. There is evidence being gathered in Arizona and will subsequently in other states to a criminal evidentiary standard. That's really strong. And so there are going to be political and legal consequences out of all this in the United States. But in order for you to get winnings, you would have to show over and above what we're already asserted to IBAS. And by the way, IBAS rulings and any legal consequences subsequently in relation to you securing winnings are unrelated. IBAS are purely addressing the consequences of negligent setting of terms and conditions, essentially, and not the actual determination of who won the election and the nature of the bet. So we would have to prove that specific individuals in Betfair we had evidence engaged in deliberate collusion, deliberate fraud, but we would have to do more than just sort of assert that they did fraud. We'd have to have evidence against specific named individuals to a criminal evidentiary standard, essentially. So that's a tall order. And so I think the question of winnings is there, but it's only there in the context where this completely unravels to the extent that we're able to actually secure evidence of involvement by principals or people at an upper tier in Betfair in some kind of malfeasance in relation to the market. So that's still a tall order. But on the narrower question of whether they were negligent, I believe they will be found negligent. Our only issue now is what the remedy is going to be. So a bit of patience. I think we've got to take the Donald Trump approach here. He was going to go back on the road in May. He was gearing up to go back on the road in April even, and start the rallies again and start campaigning, keep pushing away. But no, he wisely has held back and he's playing it low key and only now beginning to re-enter. And he's already stated, in fact, last week, that he's going to run in 2024. Let me say, he said that he's going to make a decision which he thinks people will be very, very happy with. And that means he's going to run. So he's playing it on the long game. He's biding his time. He's waiting until he has in his hands that forensic report from Arizona, which gives him everything he needs then to argue his case with the evidence. So similarly, got to be patient. It's taken time in Arizona. We get an interim report very shortly. There will be a final report out. Some months to go yet there in Arizona. And he's got to just be patient and wait till he has that. If he comes forward without the evidence, in advance of the evidence, they'll just dismiss him. Oh no, he's just going on about that again. No, so he's wait. When he has the evidence, then he'll make this case. So similarly with ourselves, we are in the eye of the storm, folks, and I hope that the people in IBAS don't miss out on too much sunshine, because, we all deserve a bit of a break and we all deserve a little sun. But by the same token, I do hope they're clocking up the old overtime and getting through our complaint as quickly as possible, because we need a result on this. But having made our case, having had it considered for a long time, thus proving that it is of some merit, we can afford to be patient right now, just like Donald Trump. I'll get on to you by email or in the Telegram group or both if there are any developments or even indications of developments. You'll be the absolute first to know, and I'll let you know by email and in the Telegram group. So we'll keep an eye on this, folks. It's a watching brief. We are in a very good position and we just have to bide our time. I'm confident that we will be found to have a case. The only question is the remedy. All right. That's it for the moment. I'll be back soon. This has been Fintan Dunn reporting. I hope you'll join me again when I have more to report on this, or for my regular broadcast. I did another one today you might want to check out on the current political situation, looking into the background to that Donald Trump thing in a little bit more detail. You'll find that on the YouTube channel or indeed on Odyssey, where everybody's going these days when they get sick of being censored by YouTube. Okay. I hope you join me again soon. In the meantime, this has been Fintan Dunn reporting. Bye for now.